This question reads, on a particular Saturday, a student will perform 6 activities: grocery shopping, hedge trimming, jogging, kitchen cleaning, laundry, and motorbike servicing. Each activity will be performed once, one at a time. The order in which the activities are performed is subject to the following conditions. Okay, so let's draw out our inventory. We have G, H, J, K, L, and M, and we're placing them in an order, each being performed one at a time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right, so let's go to the rules. Rule number 1, G has to be immediately after H. Okay, so we have H, G, we're placing them in a block. So that means G can't be first and H can't be last. K has to be earlier than G. Okay, so K is earlier than G, meaning G can't be first, but we've already made that deduction, and K can't be last. Okay, and now before we go to rule number 3, we can actually combine rules 1 and 2, like so, to have K before our HG block. Now, rule number 3. M has to be earlier than L. Okay, so M is before L, meaning L can't be first because there'd be no place for M to go, and M can't be last. All right, and rule number 4, M has to be either immediately before or immediately after J. Okay, so that means we have an MJ block, but we don't necessarily know if M is immediately before or after, so we're going to place this little curved arrow on top. And now we can actually combine rules 3 and 4 to create this chain of MJ block before L, because M is before L and we know J is either immediately before or after M, so we can place them in a block right before L. All right, so from rule number 2, we knew that G has K before it, and we made the deduction that G can't be first. But with our longer chain deduction, we see that G has 1, 2 things before it. So that means G can't be first or second. Likewise, K now has 1, 2 things after it, meaning K can't be last and K can't be fifth. Similarly, H now has 1 thing before it, so H can't be first. Now we can do the same thing with our other chain deduction. L has 2 things before it, meaning L can't be first or second. Likewise, we know that J has at least 1 thing after it. Now, you can't say that J has 2 things after it because we don't know where J is in relation to M, but J is definitely going to be before L, so that means J can't be 6th. Okay, so we see that 6th can't be H, K, M, or J, which leaves us with the binary of G or L. And now real quick, I want you to try and think about what our most restricted rule is, and or what our most restricted deduction is. Well, we have these 2 chains, 1, 2. Now, of the 2, our first chain, K before HG block, is slightly more restricted than our MJ variable block that's before L. So let's think about our K before HG. Where can we place this long chain? Well, we can't have HG in 1 and 2 because we have to have K before it. Can we have HG in 2 and 3? Let's try it out. So we're placing HG in 2 and 3, which forces K in 1, and we still have to place our MJL. Well, we know M and J are before L, so we have an MJ block and then L. So now let's try having our HG block in 3, 4. So HG. Now K can be either 1 or 2. And now we have to think about where our MJ block is going to go. Well, if K is going to be in 1 and 2, then there isn't enough space for a block of 2 variables. So that means our MJ block would have to go in 5 and 6, but then there'd be no place for L to go. meaning HG cannot be in 3 and 4. All right, so now let's try out HG in 4 and 5. Okay, well, we know K is going to be either in 1, 2, or 3. We also know that our MJ block has to be in either 1, 2, or 2, 3. So we can draw out both those options. In the first one, we have our MJ binary in 1, 2, which places K here. And then in the second option, we have K here, and then our MJ binary. And both of these options have L here as 6. All right, and our last scenario would be HG in 5 and 6. So here, we could either have MJ in 1, 2, or 2, 3. So let's draw it out again. So we can have MJ here, JM, and then we can have a binary of where K and L go, because as long as they're in 3 and 4, K is going to be before HG and L is going to be after MJ. Now here we're going to have our MJ binary in 2 and 3, and we know L will be fourth because L has to be after MJ, and then K will be first. So by exploring where our most restricted deduction could fit, we now have figured out the 3 different scenarios for this game. So we have our rules, our setup, and our deductions. Let's go ahead and hit the questions.